Welcome to the Inspired Choices Network newsletter. I am your host of Inspired Choices Network and the founder, Christine McIver. And we also have Milica Jelenic. Milica is a producer. She's also a radio show host, and she helps to create the newsletter. And she came up with this fabulous video live idea. So here we are. We want to share with you what's going on this week. This week is April the 5th to the 8th. So let's go over and look at what's happening on the network.
April 8th to 12th.
Sorry again?
April 8th to 12th.
April 8th to 12th. Woo! I stand corrected. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So here we are on the network. Now, what do we have coming up? First of all, let's go over to our host shows. Our featured host this week is Candice Mao. Candice Mao does a show called Everyday Joy with Candice. Candice has been on the network for just a couple of months, and while we are having a lot of fun, she's been on since April the 13th. She has had some amazing guests on. She's creating so many possibilities and showing examples with these guests around where joy can be picked up every day. What have you found with Candice, Milica?
I think Candice is a great connector, is what I've noticed. She invites a lot of different guests from different areas and different walks of life, and she has such joy in sharing her show with like everyone possible, with so many different topics. So I think it's a lot of fun.
That's
having such an invitation. Yeah.
Love it. I love featuring our hosts too, because it's just so much fun to see what's going on with all of the hosts. So what else do we got coming up this week that we want to tell everybody about, Milica?
Oh, we got so many fun things. Well, let me just see. Okay. So we've got, on Monday, we've got Lori Hawkins. If you've never heard of her show, Soar, I call it, I think that Lori Hawkins' Soar really is that. You literally soar when you listen to Lori's shows. And this week is called The Impact of Connection on Sales. So a lot of the work that she's doing has to do with business. And if you listen to her tips, you might just find that things in your life might just improve, especially business-wise. And those usually reflect other things as well.
She is so fabulous in business for sure. And then following her, we have Junaline. Junaline is our lovely lady from Lebanon, and she is talking about intimacy with money. I think that sounds like a really interesting show. I'm looking forward to hearing that show for sure. What do we got after that?
We have The Joy of Adventure, and there's a guest, Robert Laker, on Every Joy and Every Day as well. Everyday Joy with Candice Mao. So that's our featured host. She has a guest this week.
She has a guest this week.
An amazing inviter to other people to be on.
She is an amazing inviter. Then we move over to our parenting expert, Mary Dravis-Parish. Mary is going to be talking about parenting in a world of what-if possibilities. Mary is brilliant with parenting, and she's also celebrating having a brand new baby granddaughter, which is so much fun to watch her dance with being a grandmother and talking to each and every one of us about parenting. And as I said last week, you don't have to have young babies in your life to really gain from her knowledge of parenting. Then we have Karina Stoffel. So tell us about Karina.
Oh, Karina's fabulous. So this week is going to be in German, and I'd love to be able to say this word correctly. Polarität. I'm not German enough to say it. Polarität. And I think it has to do with polarity, but I'm not totally sure because I don't speak German, but we're going to find out. And I do find that I love listening to her in German. Listening to shows in other languages, actually, even if you don't understand the language, it creates so much change because your unconscious is like, oh, I'll let go of that.
Yeah. So we're going to send out a challenge. Listen to a show in another language and see what you might perceive and create from that. Whoopsie. Now we've got, next up is Financially Speaking with Kathy Cook-Noble. And Kathy has Angela Smith on as her guest this week. And she's talking about holistic gangsta. I love that. Just like my mouth wants to say it differently. So I'm sure that that's going to be a fabulous show.
I love that.
with Kathy and Angela for sure.
The next one's my show.
Then it's Milica's show. Whoopsie. And
Yeah, I have a guest this week, and I adore my guest. Her name is Gaia Morissette. She is a BDSM life coach. She is funny. She is intelligent. She is like so fun to talk to. And the things she's creating in the world, they both crack me up and invite me to like more of my sexualness. So I love what she offers, and she's going to be my guest, and we're going to be talking about profit to pleasure, pleasure to profit, and all the things to do with profit and pleasure.
That's
so
fabulous.
I'm excited about that.
Then we have, we move on to Elfie Joe's show, Musical Magic. Elfie Joe is our resident in China, and she is going to actually have our other host, Mary Dravis-Parish, on, and they're going to be talking about magical parenting. The two of them dance together so beautifully. This isn't their first show together, but it is really a lot of fun, and I'm sure that that's going to be something that all parents can enjoy for sure. Next we have
Sharing with Cher.
Right.
Cher is an expert on millennials. She actually wrote a book called Cracking the Millennial Code. And she's going to be having a guest this week, Fred Schlesinger. And he is going to be talking about selling yourself through branding. So fantastic, because people talk about branding all the time, and you guys get a free hour of information on branding on Sharing with Cher.
Isn't that so cool? Then we move over to Megan and Suzanne. Megan and Suzanne do Love, Life, and All Things Weird, and their show this week is called Tap That, Have That. And they're really talking about, if you didn't catch this week's show, they were talking about tapping, and it's tapping the masters. And if you're curious, I'm telling you, it was a fabulous show. If you're curious, you've got to check this out. They are inviting us into really stepping into our greatness. It's quite cool. So we love, love, love that. And then we go over to
Lindy Chafin Start's show called Unstoppable with Lindy. And It is, this week's show is called Powerful Brand Messaging, What's in the Mix? I think that's great. So we have a lot of branding shows on Wednesday. Fantastic. How does it get any better than that?
And you're so blessed, right?
We really are. Like basically free information around businesses and branding. It's an amazing time to be in the world where we can get all of this at our fingertips. So
exactly,
thank you, Mindy, for offering that.
Oh, and then we are so excited, personally and professionally excited, because guess what? Keisha Clark is back. Keisha Clark has been on the network before with a previous show. She has relaunched under a new name, and it's completely a new energy of what she's going to be creating. And her new show is called Aligning Divine with Keisha Clark. So Keisha is going to be live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And this first show is aligning with your divine. So she's really going to be explaining to us this week what that really means and what that actually looks like. And we are thrilled. Keisha is not only a host now again on the network, but she's also one of our fabulous producers. And she's going to be joining you and I, Milica, in our newsletter in the future.
I love it.
Yay! So we'll have more fun to play with. So awesome. Welcome back. Welcome again. Welcome forward, Keisha. Whoopsie.
And we've also got Wednesday at 4 o'clock, we have Luscious Leadership with Dana Lewis. And she just hit her 100 show mark last week. So if you didn't hear that, you got to go check out her 100th episode of Celebration. This week is called Would You Rather Be Right or Free? It's a great freaking question, I think, because how many of us would rather be right?
Yeah. How many of us are fighting to be right all the time and putting ourselves in prison? So that's going to be a divine topic. Oh, I'm so thrilled about this week because I am launching a feminine potency series. I've been working on this since we went to New York in February. February, and met some amazing women there at a Goddess Sit seminar. And we've put together Feminine Potency Through the Power of Voice series. And this week I'm going to have my first guest is going to be Heather Esposito, and we're going to be talking about love yourself. So it's going to be a great series. We're going to be talking about all the women in the world, the goddesses with their feminine energy, how they're bringing their voices to the world. So I'm thrilled about that. Please do come and play with us live on that show.
Awesome. And then Friday, April 12th, we have Laurence Varamy, and she's going to be having on her Exponentialize Beyond Limitations episode, we have a French show called Choisis à partir de combien ça coûte. Don't know what that means in English, but I can say it.
I can tell you what it means in English because my computer changes it, and it means, do you choose from how much does it cost?
Yes, I kind of thought so, but I wasn't totally sure.
Laurence is fabulous in 2 languages. We just love when we get different languages as well, and Laurence is in Paris, France, and she often does her shows in French. So then we have, say again?
She has the picture of Kermit, which I love.
Yes, Kermit. Then we have Dr. Deborah Unipan, and next week she's going to be talking about picking your life partner for a life of joy or misery. See the signs beforehand. Okay, I think that's one we should all be watching, right?
Definitely. This is a must watch. Must listen, must watch on YouTube, must whatever, be part of this episode. Then the next show is Infinite Energies with Lisa Bennett, who is such a gift with spaces. I don't know if people have been watching things or hearing things around the world about, decluttering and all this stuff. Lisa brings something completely different to the mix when it comes to, especially when it comes to spaces and the way that she communicates with them. So her show this week is Spring is in the Air, and I super look forward to that because she always gives such great tips on like preparing your home and your space and other spaces around you.
Yeah, totally. And then finally, closing out our week, but certainly not last, is our wonderful Dr. Andy's World. And Dr. Andy, Dr. Andy is so brilliant. She's actually speaking to humans about pets, but she's actually coaching humans for the pets. It's really fun. And so next week she's going to be talking about romancing the dog.
That's awesome. Nobody really thinks about these things. So thank you, Dr. Andy.
Dr. Andy thinks about these things. So a couple other things we wanted to highlight is we also have TV and magazine on the network. And this week's magazine article that we want to really focus on and highlight is Discovering the Purpose of Living. And that's by our host, Mary Dravis-Parish. Mary writes fabulous articles. All of our hosts and our guests are welcome to write articles for the network. So you definitely want to enjoy that, have a read, learn more about Mary and what she knows as far as that goes. And last but not least is our TV shows, what's streaming this week. A wonderful guest that I had the opportunity to interview, Christine Noble, and we were talking about storytelling for release. It was a fun interview. Christine is an author, a storyteller, a hypnotherapist, and owner of Kiki Boo Books, a line of books for children. She's traveled the world teaching these books. She's a fabulous, very, very interesting guest to have. So that's everything for this week's newsletter on the Inspired Choices Network. Be sure to check us out. Be sure to enjoy all of the archives. We have over 4,000 archives. And be sure to come and play because we love having you in the chat room during our live radio shows. And you can also call in.
And questions.
And questions. Questions are always welcome. See you next week. Bye for now.